Hi, my name is Joseph Garrity, and I'd like to talk about three things today. I'd like to talk about mindfulness, healing, and empowerment. I think these three things go together for me so naturally. First of all, let's take the issue of mindfulness, which has become so popular. I was reading the other day, there were about 34 serious articles about 20 years ago, and now it's over 540, it's just been explosive. The other thing that's been very interesting for me is to notice how science is catching up with what the spiritual gurus have known for a long time, that mindfulness is quite an important part of our life. Sometimes, if we have no idea of who or what we are, we go through life in a trance-like state, thinking that other things are responsible for our ups and downs, and that we play no part of it. And of course, that's clearly not true. So mindfulness and the explosion of it, I think, is a very healthy thing, and there's such an appetite for it, which is great. People want to know who they are, what they are, and how they can make sense of life in a way that doesn't mean, and I'm not deriding meditation, I've been meditating for many, many years, but it doesn't mean that that's for everybody, Some people can't just hack that, whereas mindful exercise is taking a short moment, noticing what you're thinking, noticing what you're feeling. That is such an easy exercise to do. And to the degree that we do that every day, we just tune in to who we are. We come off of automatic pilot and just going through routines that we know only too well, to really be mindful of what we're doing, what we're saying, what we're speaking, and most important, what we're feeling. So mindfulness is here to stay. The Tibetans, of course, taught it for thousands of years, and thank goodness that some of them escaped from Tibet in that terrible revolution which destroyed many of them. Some of them made it across the mountains in a perilous journey. There's one story which I know where 1,000 people started off that journey and only about 300 made it, so it was an incredible journey. But those that made it have made such an impact on us. They brought with us the treasure of their wisdom, and they've started to share it with us in very powerful ways. Thich Nhat Hanh is another man. He's an incredible teacher of mindfulness, and they all see it as the ultimate wisdom to know who you are and what you are, and I think I certainly would go along with that. So the other thing I'd like to talk about is healing. There needs to be a purpose for life, and for me there can be no greater purpose than to heal ourselves from all suffering, from all anger, from all guilt. Most of us, I certainly did, have had addictions to certain things in life which weren't useful for us. And we played the blame game. That was our default setting. If anything wasn't right, we'd automatically think that somebody else was to blame. Even now, all of these years later, if I can't find something, I must confess my mind thinks, now where did she put that? And of course it's not true, it's really where did I put it, So mindfulness is such a gift because it allows us to heal. It allows us to heal from the hurts we think other people are causing us. I'm talking about psychological hurts here, not physical hurts. Obviously, if you're being abused, you need to get out of that situation as quickly as you can. Now, I'm talking about emotional hurts where you think somebody else has hurt you. They don't like the way you look. They don't like the way you speak. They don't like the way you dress. And yet at one stage, when they first met you, they thought you were wonderful. So you could ask yourself, what went on? Well, what went on is old patterns came rising up and started to spoil the relationship. These old habits are very hard, and it needs some discipline. Simple, but it still needs discipline to learn to understand what's going on here and how we can heal that. And we can heal it. It's very, very doable. very doable, no question about that. I've had people with all sorts of problems and they couldn't believe that they've suffered this so long when the remedy was in fact quite easy and without question in their own hands. So the other thing I'd like to talk about is empowerment. For me, there's two things about empowerment. First of all, there's empowering yourself. Not thinking you're a bunch of garbage, not thinking that you're only 20% okay, 30% okay, knowing that you're 100% okay. So empowerment is knowing that you are okay. You don't have to do anything except the acceptance of yourself as being okay. You need to let go of these stories that maybe were handed down to you. You were not good at this, you were not good at that. Let them go. Let them go. They have no validity, I promise you. And this we can demonstrate. It's not difficult. So you get to a stage where, first of all, you can't give what you don't have. So you have to learn to love yourself unconditionally. Now, if only that was the whole story, that would be great. But it's not. It's part of the story, very important part. So you do have to learn to love yourself unconditionally. And then you need to empower others. That doesn't mean making speeches, writing books. It just means silently, in your heart, being gentle and kind and loving them. Whatever they're wrestling with, they're wrestling with. But you can see them in a compassionate way, especially if you come to a place where you've learned to love yourself. So be gentle with yourself, learn to love yourself, learn to love others, and then you will have cracked it. You will have managed the three important keys to knowing who you are. Mindfulness, learning to know who you are, healing yourself from any situation that you think you're a flawed human being. You're absolutely not. And learning to be empowered and empowering others. So, my name is Joseph Geraghty. I run the School of Mastery. If you would like to get in touch with us and learn more about mindfulness, healing and empowerment, give us a call, 091 871 904. It's been great to share this time with you.